John here with Elton's Retirement Journey and Travel, back with another meeting of the Retiring Club. And I hope everyone is nice and cozy on this Monday, February 23rd. In this meeting of the Retiring Club, we're going to be taking a look at the 2025 annualized returns. I'm going to be sharing my investment portfolio with you, and we're going to take a look at each individual investment and what it returned in gains, and talk a little bit about the annualized returns. So at the end of the year, after everything settles up, they'll give you a 1 year return in the next year. And that annualized returns from the previous year usually includes any interest, any appreciation in the value of the stock. For example, if it went up from $10 to $12, that would be a $2 gain. And it typically would be a 20%. And you're going to get any dividends that were paid out, as well as the capital gains, which includes the short term and the long term capital gains. And usually, what they do is they'll bundle the dividend, the short term, and the long term together, and they will put it in the reinvestment portion of your portfolio, typically with the mutual funds, and they'll buy more shares at the discounted price, and that helps your investments grow. In my case, since I'm newly retired and I'm looking to fund 2026, I decided to track all of my gains and turn off the reinvestment and use that cash to live off of. So I'm going to go through the process that I use to track these investments and introduce it to you, because it could be helpful for some people who lose their jobs to harvest some of the growth from their investments, as well as anyone who may take Social Security at 62. They've got a nice amount of money in their IRAs, and they want to supplement that by um, giving themselves a monthly income out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up that screen and we'll take a look at it together. And my name is John, and you're with me at the Returning Club. Okay, so here are the annualized returns from last year. And what I did was I took a look and I organized my investment mix. So we got the Mag 7, and most of them were Fidelity. Country returned 21.75. I had this one for a long time. The Stock Selector Fund, 18.89. And as you can see, this large growth, 18.53. The Worldwide, that had a lot of the Mag 7 in it. So I just grouped it with the Magnificent 7, 16.43. The Harbor Capital Appreciation, 13. And Fidelity FXAIX, a lot of people have that. That's in a Roth. That has a 5 year vesting period. And then MDFOX, this is a Mag 7 that I got at about average of $6.40. It's trading at about 7.13 now. And if we continue on down, we'll take a look at the technology funds. Let me just bring this up for you so you can see it at the top. The T. Rowe Price Integrated and this Global Technology, these two right here, I moved into those a year or so ago as a portfolio turnover. I had some investments that didn't do well, and this one that's done really well, 27.28. And Fidelity Select Software, I've got that at yellow. It only returned 4.83, but it still has a lot of growth in it from the capital gains that have been reinvested. But I'm keeping my eye on that, because what'll happen is if this goes negative in 2 or 3 years, it'll eat away at all the growth, and then it'll go down to the cost basis of what I put in it, and then it can turn into a loss leader. I'm keeping my eye on that. And then we've got our the Jensen technology, and then we've got the Royal Oak technology. This is my baby right here, has my Asian fund. And let me continue on. We've got the large cap, and we've got some nice returns. This Magellan ETF, that is my one of my ETFs there, and I was able to take $1,000 out of that this year. Well, last year in 2025. Davis New York Venture, this is my oldest fund. That had a nice, juicy capital gain return, which I used to pay myself or fund 2026. Franklin Mutual, also very old. And here we have the Fidelity MSCI Energy Index Fund. And that should, yeah, these are in the wrong place. That guy should be down under energy, and the this one here, the mega cap, should be up there. So I put them in the wrong places, but I'll fix that later. This is a new energy fund for me, and it's already up 6% in 2 weeks. And then I got my healthcare. I'm watching that one too, as it has not been growing very well. That's why I got it highlighted in yellow. And the Fidelity Healthcare PHX is 14.4. ClearBridge Communication under the mid caps. And I've got this Transamerica. This one is down. Um, the cost basis and the market value is in red. So I'm looking for that to recover to $29. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm probably going to go with a Max 7 because that is in the E-Trade traditional IRA. So this is earmarked to be sold as soon as it hits $29 a share. I've had it for a number of years, always questioned it anyway. And then we got the Fidelity Select Financial Portfolio at 15.16. That's a new one. We're going to take a deep dive and see how that performed because I got it this time last year in February. And then we got our Fidelity Natural Resources here. So let's see if I can get this fixed up real quick. We'll just do that. Come down here. Yeah, the light blue ones here, these are all the new investments that I have. And so there's not much tracking on it other than the year to date from when I purchased it. And there we go. Yeah, that should do it. And then last, I got this international fund here in 28.72. International is doing very well. Now, if you notice, I got these little asterisks by each one of these. Each one of these funds that paid out $500 or more, $500 to $1,000, I have a mark because these are generating capital gains and they will go into the sweep account unless they're in the Roth. The Roth, I want to continue reinvesting, and it's showing 13 funds with the asterisk. So if we take a look, that's at least 13,000. Well, let's say use a conservative $11,000 in capital gains. So this is what I'm using to track these gains and keep an eye on my investments because the goal is to keep these investments moving. When they start talking about portfolio turnover, once these investments start not growing as much and then the share price starts to slide, it will eat away the compounded gains that in the appreciation that you've accumulated. So you got to keep an eye on it. Light blue is brand new. Red, headed to the wood chipper. Yellow, we're going to keep an eye on. And all the rest of them, these green ones here, I was able to sell shares and take money out of those. And they're like an ATM machines for me. So that's why they're in green. So that's it on this portion. I'm going to come back and show you. Okay, here's my crude spreadsheet. Like I said, I have been tracking the capital gains. I want to see how these investments. Let's take a look at these two here. These are the oldest ones, so you can see how they've been doing over the last couple years. So I started tracking these in 2022. I got 48.89 out of this. That right there in capital gains will cover 3 months of income for me. It'll cover my household for $1,600 a month times three. I get 3 months out of that. The Transamerica, this is going to the wood chipper. It's down from last year, but as you can see, I think I had an asterisk on it because it was over $500. This traditional one, IRA here, it's been pulling up some good money. That 9,043 will pretty much cover me 6 full months in retirement. And if we go down to the Fidelity IRAs, we're only using the money out of the IRAs right now. This is the ETF. It really doesn't pay much in capital gains, but the Contra Fund did a lot. And see these other ones down here, the software IT, That had the most. And the rest of these are all below $500. We got this one, the large cap at 600, and all the rest of these are below. But accumulated is 57.95. And so my magic number is 14,838. And then I added about just shy of $5,200 out of the government short term notes, or it came from the rollover when I left Morgan Stanley. There was cash just sitting there, and I just transferred that over. So that's looking pretty good. But this is how, if you retire early or you lose your job and you're over 59 and a half, you could just start withdrawing out of this as an IRA distribution. Here's the E-Trade Roth. The E-Trade Roth came back pretty strong. This is the BlackRock, and here is the Red Oak Technology. The Jensen Technology still has to come up a little bit, but what does it matter? I got $3,200 in there. And then the Harbor uh, cap with Charles Schwab, 947 for a total of 972. These other ones, I don't think I had them that much, but I got $19,000 in capital gains versus 19,839 in the year 2024. So this is how I track this. And so what this means to me is that I can supplement my income. If I had to take Social Security, which I don't, um, or if you were in a situation where you lost your job, you're getting unemployment, and you can use the rule of 55 or maybe the 72T. You can work with your financial planner and just allow the investments to marinate and generate the cash you need, pull it out from the sweep account if you turn off the reinvestments, and then pull it out in small segments so you can continue to gain some interest on it. So this is what I'm doing. I thought this would be a really, really good presentation, so that we can understand how our investments grow. Now, this investment would have went up by that dollar amount, but we took this dollar amount out, we added it to it, and we're living off of it. We're March 15th, I'll be 3 months into retirement. We're going to come back and look at the budget. But right now, it looks like the budget is working. But I'll talk about that in another video. So this is how I'm tracking these capital gains here. And you can see I've been doing it for a while. You don't get the same amount every year. Um, you see that's down. This one's up down here on the Roth. That's a good thing. And then we stayed about the same in the Charles Schwab. So this is going to end my presentation. I want to thank everybody for coming by. Hopefully you'll find this content valuable. There'll be a lot more as we start diving in how the investments work. And if you like this content, please leave a like and go ahead and subscribe. And if you feel like leaving a comment, please do. My name is John, and this will end the meeting.